All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our webinar for the Quality Rated Workforce Bonuses. Very exciting to be here. I'm Bentley Ponder. I'm the Deputy Commissioner for Quality Innovations and Partnerships and overseeing the division that is managing this new project. And I can honestly say I can't remember a time where I've been this excited about the project and probably just a little bit nervous as well. So all good. We are 5 days out and we are ready to go. So we welcome again. We are here with what we hope is a very exciting webinar for you. I will say it's going to be just a little bit wonky because we are going to go through the process of applying for these new but annual quality rated workforce bonuses. And with me in the room and my co-presenters are Denise Jensen, the the Director of QR Development and Business.
Hi, Bentley.
And Business Operations. To be fair, that's a little bit of a new title. So,
and then, the next slide, Tyler. Maybe you can help with the next slide.
Yeah, because the titles are there.
There we go.
And then we also have Donna Chen, our friend from Care Solutions, who is the Senior Program Manager for ECE/DECAL, again, from Care Solutions. So welcome, Donna. Thank you for joining us. And again, welcome, Denise.
Yep, happy to be here.
We've been here before.
Yep, oh yes.
All right, as everybody can see, this is the agenda. And I'm going to start off and I'm going to go through my part rather quickly. I'm going to hit kind of the big picture of the what, the why, and the who. Then I'm going to transition to Denise, who will start the process on the how, and then we'll go into more detail on the how with Care Solutions, who again is going to actually pull up the application and walk everybody through. We're going to come back to Denise at the end, who's going to recap some of the key things that we want eligible staff and directors to remember. And that I will just also say that, this is a brand new process. So we are learning, we are developing policies and answering questions every day. And so, just bear with us, but we'll get there. And we're just excited to be here. And we will answer as many questions as we can during the webinar. All right, next slide, please. Okay, so just to reiterate, what are we talking about here? So beginning April 2025, in approximately 5 days, we will begin awarding a new annual workforce award of $500 for eligible employees of providers who are quality rated at the 1, 2, or 3-star level. This is a really important project for us because we know how hard all of our staff out there work. We know the challenges in both achieving and maintaining quality. So the purpose of this is to really recognize and acknowledge the hard work that everyone does. And again, just excited to do this and excited that it's going to be part of an annual process. And then as we'll go into detail later, this will be available to all eligible staff, and we'll talk about eligibility in just a second at all star levels. And unlike the commitment to quality payments, this is not dependent on CAPS participation. So this is available to all quality rated providers. And we don't say this on the slide, but I do want to point out that this represents a $17 million investment in the workforce from DECAL. This is part of our annual allotment from our CCDF fund. And as we did our current CCDF plan last year, this was a big priority for us and for Commissioner Jacobs. We wanted to make sure that we had something that specifically went to the workforce. That being said, we also estimate that this will be around 34,000 payments each year.
A lot of people.
A lot of people.
Bentley, before you jump onto the next slide, I just wanted to mention, if you have questions during the webinar, you will see a little bar at the top of your screen that says Q&A. And if you would like to type in your question there, we are seeing those questions at our end, and we will hopefully answer questions as just through the course of the webinar. But then also at the end of the webinar, we'll have some time to kind of go back to those questions if something wasn't clear in the presentation. So just kind of a little FYI, that's what the Q&A is for. That's where you'll need to go to put those questions in.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry. That was in my notes.
So excited to jump into
that's in my notes, and I just completely breezed over it. All right, next slide, please. All right, so as we've mentioned before, eligible staff have to be from an eligible program, and this slide details the program eligibility. So as I mentioned before, a 1, 2, or 3-star quality rated program. And if you look at our quality rated universe, that of course includes our child care learning centers, our family child care learning homes. It also includes, we have close to 100 standalone school age only programs. And then of course, we also have some providers who are participating from Georgia Head Start, Georgia Early Head Start, and our Department of Defense. We also have a few programs from the tech schools and universities. So again, really about being quality rated and 1, 2, or 3-star levels. And of course, I mentioned the CAPS and non-CAPS participation. You will see at the bottom there that we say all programs will have an assigned payment application month for their staff to apply. You're going to hear about this a lot through the webinar, and this is a really important piece of information. For us to distribute 34,000 payments, we had to have a way to do that seamlessly throughout the year. And what we've done, and you'll see this in a few slides, is that we've assigned each program a payment application month. This will be the month that all of your eligible staff in that program apply. It's not the month that they receive payment because there is time to process, but all staff will be able to apply throughout that month. So it's going to be really important for you to know your payment application month. And if you've not seen that from the email correspondence or from some of our other webinars, we'll show you exactly how to find that later in the webinar. All right, next slide. All right, in terms of staff eligibility, so this is for staff who are employed for at least 90 days at a qualifying program. It was required for staff who are full-time, and that is defined as teacher or support staff working at least 30 hours per week, or staff working in school age that are at least 15 hours a week. And these bonuses are designed for sites that are working on site at a child care facility. So sites that are working, on the ground, in the programs. I will say, and this is something I keep reminding myself, but I'm really happy about this, and something that I know we heard from you, that this is just not for your educational staff. This is also for your support staff. So as you'll see, as we go through the application, you'll see places for your staff that work in food service or transportation or other areas. We know how vital they are to the quality of your program, and they are also included in these bonuses. All right, so I mentioned before the payment application month. And again, this is when all of your eligible staff will apply, again, not necessarily receive payment during that month. And so, just for you to know, the way we assigned it is we looked at the program's very first rating date, that initial rating date, and that was the way the months were assigned. If you've not been rated and you're listening in, that just know that your staff will still receive these bonuses this year. That your payment month will just be the next month of this year, but then in following years, it'll be the month that you are rated. We are beginning this process, as I think now that's the third time I've mentioned this, in 5 days in April. So that is when the application will open, and eligible staff for those programs whose payment month is April can begin applying. And, it was really important to us that we are able to offer these awards to staff, all staff in calendar year 2025. Obviously, we're just starting in April. So what we're doing is, for this year, those programs whose payment application month is January for 2025, your staff will also apply in April. For for programs whose payment month is February, you'll also apply in May for this year, and then March and June. And then in the next year, you will go back to your assigned payment application month. But again, this is so that all staff receive a payment this calendar year. All right, so we are really hoping to spread the word. We know for the success of this, it's dependent on our workforce knowing about these, since they are the ones that have to apply. The payments go directly to them, and so we have created some posters and palm cards. All quality rated programs are receiving one poster. Once you get those, if you want to request more, you can request them through us. You'll see in the poster that there's a place for you to write your license number in the box provided, and staff can then use that so they can find their payment application month and do and apply. And that we're hoping that you'll put the posters in a prominent location. I am excited to say that we just found out right before the webinar that these posters are starting to be shipped today. So you should start receiving those. We have asked our contractor to prioritize those programs who will be applying in April. So those programs will receive it first. Once all of them have been shipped and a couple days have gone by, we'll do a social media post to let you know that those are all out there. And if you haven't received it, then you can contact us and we'll track down where your information is. But really excited about those posters coming out, and we hope that you'll be excited to receive them. And then last slide for me. So I'm going to turn this over to Denise, who's going to go into more of the detail. For me, as I'm thinking through this whole process, I think it's important to think kind of in terms of 3 stages. So this first stage is preparation. So what do your staff need so when they sit down to do the application, they can do that seamlessly? And for our directors out there, what do you need to provide your staff so they're able to do that? So that's that first stage. Then there is the whole application and verification stage that occurs during that payment application month when your staff apply. And then, of course, the fun part is when do they receive payment? And as our friends at Care Solutions will show, there is a way that staff will be able to track their application and know when their payment is coming to them. So with that, Denise, feel free to jump in on anything that I missed, and I will turn it over to you. And there's your new appropriate title.
Thanks, Bentley. So no, I think you covered everything fairly well. So I'm just going to jump right in, as Bentley had mentioned, preparation. Preparation is going to be extremely important for this process because, again, the application window is a month. So it doesn't give staff, it's not like they have a whole 3 months or something to apply and to take their time with this. So we really do want to let you know there are some steps that your staff can be taking now if some of these things are applicable to them. So I'm going to ask Tyler to move on to our next slide. And this is what we're calling our tips for smooth sailing. So these are just kind of some tips and tricks, some things to be doing ahead of time so that when it is your payment application month, you will be ready to be able to submit that application as early in the month as you are able to. Of course, remembering that there is that 90-day work requirement. So, of course, if your 90 days falls within that month, we would advise you to wait until you hit that 90 days before you actually do submit for verification. Although you can go into the application and be completing information and saving that, but we would advise you not to actually complete the application through to verification until you hit that 90th day so that it would not potentially be denied because you wouldn't have hit the 90-day mark. So the first thing here that you can see that is very important is that all of your staff have a current and up-to-date Georgia PDS account. That's the professional development system that is used here in Georgia to track and to identify career levels. And so those of you that are you have your education staff listed in the portfolio and you're receiving points for career levels. Obviously, most of those staff will already have PDS accounts because that's how you earn points for Standard 1. We do know that in Standard 1, it was not required for support staff to have a PDS account, but it is required for this particular payment that everybody in your program who's eligible does have at least what we call the profile in PDS. So that means that in that profile, when they create their account, they do need to select the correct employer, that childcare facility that they are working for as their primary employer, and then the position that they hold within that facility. We do not, however, need support staff to submit transcripts or submit for a career level because career levels are not required for this payment, but the profile is. So there's a little bit less that your support staff have to do. They just create that account, make sure that they're selecting the correct facility. Again, we do know that there are staff that may potentially work for multiple programs. They may have one or more facility that they work for. But when submitting for your application, you do need to make sure that the program that you have that you are submitting under, that you are looking at the application month for, is the program that is listed as your primary employer there, because that's how we'll be tracking and verifying that place of employment. So PDS, very important, something you can do way ahead of time and have that taken care of, because it is that profile page that you will be submitting into the application. You'll actually be uploading that page. The second thing that we need to make sure of is that everybody who is eligible for these payments has an unexpired, satisfactory, comprehensive records check on file with their employer. So that is very important for all of the directors, employees, and owners out there, making sure that in your Koala self-service portal that you have ported over all of those records checks to make sure that everybody is unexpired and eligible to be in the program that we are going to be paying. The third thing that all of the staff will need to provide in the application is their 2 most recent pay stubs. Again, the pay stubs is what is helping Care Solutions to determine the hours worked. So making sure that all of your staff have easy access to be able to upload a copy of that pay stub, whether it's a PDF version that they've saved, they can take a photo of that pay stub, making sure it's either a JPEG, a PNG, or a GIF to be able to upload into their application. But those, again, are things that, ahead of time, you can have those on file and ready to go so you can upload them as soon as you have access to your application. The fourth thing here that you will see in terms of just kind of information that you'll see as Donna walks you through the application are really just things to know, because you will be asked these on the application. So things like knowing your hourly pay. So some folks may be salaried and they will need to break that down into what their hourly pay would be and the number of hours that they work per week, months of the year that they work, and also the date of hire. Again, that date of hire is vitally important because that's what tells us if you have met that 90-day gate, and that is an actual requirement in order to be eligible, is that 90 days working within the program. The other 2 things here that you see at the end, this is number 5 and number 6. This piece may not apply to everybody, but the next slide is going to really detail as to whether this applies to you or not. But if you are an individual who is required to upload a notarized affidavit of lawful presence in the United States, you will also be required to upload a current and valid ID along with that application. And so those current valid IDs will be things like a driver's license, your passport, military ID card, birth certificate. There's a list of documents that are accepted for that verification process. But if you have to do that, just know that those documents do have to be current and not expired. So that's another thing. If you notice your driver's license is coming up for expiring, or if you're a non-US citizen and you have your permanent resident card and you know that that's expiring, these are things, again, ahead of time being prepared. Make sure that these pieces are very important. Identifications are current and valid so that you can upload them. But the next screen that I'm going to talk about is to really determine whether or not you need to have this layer. So this is the layer where, because the funds, as Bentley had mentioned, this is part of our annual CCDF funding, and this is considered a public benefit. So anytime DECAL is making payments that are considered to be public benefit, we are required to verify the identity and legal authorization to work in the US before these payments can be made. And so it can get a little bit complicated in terms of, well, do I need to do this or don't I need to do this? What are the steps involved? So we're hoping that this slide here can really break down very easily by basically looking at the status that you fall under, will then determine whether or not you will have to submit this documentation. So this is all part of preparation, but the good news is you don't have to remember this slide and you don't have to go back. When you are completing the application process itself, there will be a determination made in the application, and it will let you know if you do have to submit this. But it's good to know before the application, because you can be doing this, getting this documentation completed before you go into your application and have it ready on hand. So in order to do this piece of the verification, this is one piece of the verification process that is actually handled by DECAL staff. This is not actually a piece of the verification or processing that Care Solutions does. DECAL staff will be the ones determine this eligibility, and we use a government website called eVerify. And once we receive your affidavit, then our staff here in DECAL are the ones that are going in and approving these affidavits. So basically, the slide here says, well, here's my question. This is my status. If I'm a US citizen and I've previously received some kind of payment from DECAL before, that could have been the power payments during the pandemic, could have been DECAL scholars incentives, maybe you received stipends through Project Little, our peer ambassadors. So there's lots of incentives and stipends through DECAL scholars that you may have received payment. And if you are a US citizen, that means you have already completed this process. And so, no, you would not have to then submit another notarized affidavit. So you're good to go. If you, however, you're a US citizen and you have never received any payment before, maybe you're new to this, the early childhood field, and you have, maybe you wasn't around when we did power payments, and so this is going to be your first payment, then yes, you would be required to complete this affidavit, and then we would be doing that verification of lawful presence for you. Again, the good news is one and done, US citizen, you don't have to do it again. So let's move on now to non-US citizens. So if you are a non-US citizen, but you are eligible to work in the United States, that may be somebody like our fellow friends who are permanent residents, or they're on a visa that allows them to work in the US. The good news is if you have received a payment within the last 10 months, so again, perhaps you've received DECAL scholars, maybe you've received an incentive stipend. If it's been within the last 10 months, then you will not have to submit another affidavit. However, if you have never received a payment and you're a non-US citizen, then of course you will have to go through and submit that affidavit, and then it's good for a year, but there is a yearly requirement on non-US citizens to every year to recertify through eVerify. And then the very last one there, if you're a non-US citizen eligible to work in the US and you have received a payment, but it was more than a year ago, then again, you've missed that year and you would have to apply. So there's, it's kind of a yes, no, here's my status, here's my situation, do I have to apply or not? And the good news is, again, you will be prompted in the application, but if you know ahead of time, of course, in order to complete that notarized affidavit, you will have to download a blank copy of it. That is available to you in the QR payments resource page. So you can go ahead, download it ahead of time, get it filled out, find a notary public who will be able to then verify your valid and up-to-date current identification. And then you'll be able to upload and submit that notarized affidavit with the application. So this is probably the one piece, if it applies to you, might take the most amount of time for you to do. So this is why we just kind of want you to be prepared. So this is kind of the preparation. I'm going to now hand over to Donna, who is going to walk you through being able to search, find out if it's your payment month, when your payment application month is, and then actually walk you through the application so you can kind of see what it will look like and just give you a little bit of a preview of what to expect when it is your month.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Bentley. Hi, everyone. I'm very excited to walk through the application process for the QR Workforce Bonus. It's a fairly simple process where you'll go to our website to search for your program's application month. And when it's your month to apply, it will bring you to our website portal to submit your application. So let me go ahead and just bring up the website that you'll go to. It is
the magic of technology. Let's see if we can. It's always that moment of truth of.
Yay!
Always that moment of like, doesn't work, doesn't work.
So this is our website. It is decalqrpayments.com, and here's our homepage. When you go to our homepage, you will see two circles, a red one on the left and an orange one on the right. You will want to click on the orange, which is the annual quality rated workforce bonus for eligible employees. Once you click on this orange button, it'll come over to the quality rated workforce bonus page. If you scroll down, you'll be able to see and review the eligibility to see if you qualify or not. But most importantly, right in the middle, here's a search feature where you'll find your program's application window. There are 3 fields here. You only need to fill in one field to search for your program. So I'll do some examples for you so you can see what it looks like for your program name. And then the input that you put in the field can be very simple. It does not have to be your full program name, as long as you have something in there. So I'm going to go ahead and search Big Blue Marble. We know that there are a lot of Big Blue Marbles out there. If you click on search after typing in your program name and multiple ones come up, you can click on this drop-down menu and scroll through and find which Big Blue Marble or facility you work at. So for example, if I work at Evans Town Center, I'm going to identify this, and then I'm going to click it to select the facility, and then I'm going to select it, and then it's going to tell me if I'm eligible to apply now or what month I can apply. So for Big Blue Marble, Evans Town Center, their application is not yet open, and it does say that their application month will open on April 1st to the 30th. So then at that time, you can come back to this website, search again, and then you'll be able to apply. If you don't want to search by your program name and you have your license number, you're welcome to put in your license number. So for example, if I work for CCLC 13460, I can just type in 13460, press the search button, and then it will show me that my application window is in June. Same thing, if you want to search by zip code, you can just type in a zip code and search, and then you would select your programs, since there'll be multiple programs in that zip code. Click on one, select it, and then you'll see that your Early Learning Center's application window is in October. If, for example, you do type in something that does not come up with a result, for example, I'll put in 30269, an error message will pop up where it says no facility found, please try again. That means you should just clear this field and try searching for a different way. So let's try a facility that actually is eligible to apply. I'm going to go ahead and search for this. When it is time to apply, you will see time to apply at the top, and it says your application window is now, which is March, and we're going to apply now. And this is just a test facility, just so you know. This specific facility actually has a different application month, but we're going to just apply through this. When you click on apply now, it's going to bring you to our login portal where you would enter in your login information. If you do not have an account with us already, you can click on this where it says don't have an account, and it will walk you through creating an account. Or if you do think you have an account, you can, but you forgot your password, you can go down over here, click on forget your password, and you'll be sent an email to reset your password and log in. When you do create an account and reset your password, you will need to go back to the website, search for your facility, and apply again. But once you get to this page, go ahead and log in. Once you log in, the first page you'll see is a pre-qualification form. It will have 4 questions that you will need to answer before you can proceed. If you actually skip these questions, or if you miss a question and click check your eligibility, it will say, you are not eligible because you did not fill everything out, or one of the questions was not filled in properly. So again, we'll just go through the questions. If you work for a 1, 2, or 3-star rated facility, if you've been employed with your employer for at least 90 days, if you're a full-time support staff, teacher, or support staff that works the qualifying hours, and if you work on site. If you do qualify, it will say that you have been pre-qualified to continue on and submit your application. Please note that the application, if you do not complete this application within the 1-month window, that 1 month, and then you try to come back and apply after your eligible month, you will not be able to. So you do need to apply during your application month. So we'll click on continue to application in order to go in. As you can see, there are 6 steps within the application. We're at step 1, where it's going to confirm your employer. This is going to populate with the employer that you selected on the website search. Please just double check that this is the place that you work at. It matches your CCLC number where you work. If it does not match, you can click on delete application. If you delete application, it will bring you back to the website where you can search again and you can select your correct employer. So let's say this is my correct employer. I'm going to go ahead and confirm and continue to go to step 2. This is your personal information. Please just scroll down, review that information that is input here. It should be already filled out, but if it's not completely filled out, it will ask you to fill in the required information. Once you filled everything out, you can click on the continue button to go to step 3. Step 3 is your employment information. This is all about what your position at your facility. You will need to click on your job title, which is all listed here. You can mark more than one. For example, if you are a teacher and you help out with transportation, you can click more than one checkbox. I'm going to pretend that I'm a teacher, and I'm going to click teacher, and we're going to continue to the next questions. Are you a lottery funded Georgia pre-K teacher? Are you a Head Start or early Head Start teacher? Are you a teacher working with only school-age children? And your date of hire. So let's say I actually started working on October 15, 2020. I just typed it in. If, for example, you have not worked during the 90 days and you just started working this month, you will see that it will come up red as a reminder that you have not worked for more than 90 days. And this is just to let you know that you might be denied since you might have fulfilled the eligibility requirement. But we're going to go ahead and just put in a valid workday. It's going to ask for the number of children in the classroom. This is required because I'm a teacher, so put in 15. And you are required to put in the ages of the children in your class. You can click more than one. We're going to continue down. What is the number of hours you work each week? And remember, you do need to work at least 30 hours if you're full-time staff, or 15 if you work in a school-age program. Please input your hourly wage and how often you get paid. There's a selection and a drop-down. Just mark the one that applies to how often you get paid and the number of months you get paid per year. Once all of these questions are filled in, oh, there's one more. And what is the number of months that you work per year? Number of months you're paid per year. Once all these questions are answered, you can go ahead and press the continue button down here. If at any point you need to save your application, you can save your draft here. We're on step 4 with the document uploads. So you will see over here that there are these gray circles telling you exactly what documents are needed. Click on here and there's a drop-down button, and we're going to just select what document you're going to upload. So I'm going to go ahead and select a notarized affidavit. I'm going to choose my file, select that file, and then press the upload button. You will see that my affidavit is now showing up on the right-hand side. We're going to go back to the left again and select another required document. Secure and verifiable document. This is your ID, like your driver's license. So once I select this, I'm going to choose your file. I'm going to select my ID. I'm going to upload it. And once again, it shows up on the right. If by any chance you upload the wrong document, you are able to click on this X button to remove it. So if I click on X, you'll see it disappears from the right. And it also shows that it is unchecked marked. So we're going to go ahead and re-upload it so that we can complete this step. You will also need to upload your Georgia PDS profile. I'm going to choose the file. And you'll see I've uploaded 3 documents and there are 3 green check marks on the left. You'll see that recent pay stubs is still gray because I have not submitted it. I have not uploaded it yet. And if I were to try to continue at this point, it will tell me all required documents must be uploaded before submitting. So you are not able to continue past this page until all required documents are uploaded. If you feel that you don't have everything, you can always save your draft and come back to your application later to continue uploading and to submit your application. Okay. Let's finish this page. I'm going to upload a recent pay stub. And then we do require 2. So we're gonna just keep on that and I'll upload a second pay stub. You'll see that most of my file types are PDF. PDF works. Here's a JPEG, PNG. JPEG also works. If you do upload a document that is not a valid file type, it will give you an error message, and those would mainly pertain to Excel files, Word files, or HEIC files. So make sure you have the correct file type when you upload your documentation. I'm going to press continue now that all of my documents are there. And this brings you to the payment window. You have a selection of ACH, which is direct deposits to your bank account, or you could receive a check. If you do want to get direct deposited set up, you'll click ACH, and you're going to continue. And then you will see that a pop-up button appears. We do use an external vendor for ACH payments. You will need to enter in all of your information and click next. You will see that there are steps within this pop-up window that you need to complete in order to continue. I am not going to continue in this because I don't want to. But just know that you will need to go through these pages and scroll down until you get to the next button, until you finish the required page information. So for the purposes of this application, I'm going to select check as my payment preference. Once you do that, you'll continue. And this is the last page, and this is an affirmation page. I know it's a lot of words here, but to summarize, it essentially says that everything you entered in this application is correct and complete to the best of your knowledge. You're also going to verify that you've completed a background check to work at your facility. And it also acknowledges that you may be issued a 1099 at the end of the year if you receive more than $600 from us. So once you read all of this information, you're going to scroll down and you're going to need to sign this. So your signature actually must match the name in your application. And you'll see over here in gray, this is what the name of your application is. So if you have, 2 last names or, a different, a maiden name or whatever, it has to be the name that is associated with your application in order for you to continue. So I'm going to type in what my application name is. And then once you sign it, you can continue. This is the last page, which is reviewing all the information that you input in the previous steps. So you'll need to scroll down and review everything that you input. If there is anything that is input incorrectly, there are these pencil buttons, icon buttons on the right over here, where you can click on it and go back and edit any one of those pages. If everything is correct, you're going to go ahead and press Request Employer Verification. So your application, I'm going to press this, your application will go to your director to confirm everything that you input. This is the last page where it says submission confirmation. Thank you for submitting. We received it. What happens next? Your director will receive an email, and they're going to have to click on that email link to confirm that all of the information you selected is correct. And once they confirm, it will go to us at Care Solutions to process. Your director will have 7 days to complete this. So once you submit it, you can follow up with your director to make sure that they received it and that they respond. Once you've submitted your application, you are welcome to log in at any time and then go to your dashboard. And this is very helpful because you can check the status of your application at any point in time to see where it's at. You will see that this is my application that I just submitted. And you will see the status right now is employer verification because I just sent that. If your employer did not receive it, they're welcome to resend the employer. Like, let's say it's been 3 days since you submitted, your director has not responded. You are able to click on this and resend it to them again to make sure that they receive that email and respond to it. Another helpful thing about on your portal that I like to point out is over here on the top right, you will see your profile. If you click on your profile, you can change anything within your profile. So if you, let's say, moved, you can click on your profile and enter in and update your address. And in addition, there is a communication tab where not only will you get emails, standard emails at every point in your application, but you are able to select text as well. If at any point you decide, well, I don't want to receive a check, I want to receive direct deposit because I want to get my money a little bit faster, or it's just more simple, you can change your payment type here as well. And it's the same information where if you click on ACH, you will have to fill in those banking information details. And lastly, as we're processing your application, and if there is a document that we need you to resubmit, for example, if your pay stub was too old or we needed some more clarification on a document, you'll be instructed to click on the Uploads button, and it will allow you to upload more documents here. There's nothing here at this point because we just submitted and our application has not been reviewed yet. But just so you know, this is where you go if we do need additional documents from you. Please do not email them to us. We do prefer you to upload the documents through this portal. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and review the employment verification because I, as an applicant, have just submitted my application and my director will need to verify me. They will get an email where they will click on a link. And when your employer clicks on the link, they will come over to this page. They will need to read the director's affirmation. And essentially is saying that they are verifying the accuracy of your application and they will need to sign it before continuing. So I'm going to just pretend that I am the director and click sign. Your director will review and they'll know it's from you because your name will be here and your email address will be here. And then it's also to confirm that this is the center that you work at. Your director will click on this tab, verify employee, and then everything that you input in your application is listed here. So they will review the number of hours you work, your hourly wage, everything that you input. If everything is correct, they will click on the approve button down here. If something is incorrect, and let's say they say, oh, well, you know what? Donna is the teacher. and she's also, an assistant director or something else, they can go in and update it if they feel, or if they want to update what your hourly wage is, and they actually, say you work a different amount per year. They can update anything on this page to make it accurate and press approve. They are also able to reject this, which means that if you are no longer working at your facility, or if there's something that they feel is wrong, that you are not eligible for this bonus, they can reject it. But we're going to go ahead and approve because everything looks good. And this is the last page where everything has been completed. The employee is valid, which is you, and then they've completed their requirement. And once they complete it, if you go, you will see on actually it takes a few minutes, but when you go back to your dashboard, you will see that your status will have been changed to received.
Donna, we're getting lots of questions here just as you're going through this about how do directors verify if they're the director?
Directors can verify themselves.
Yes.
So that is okay.
Yes. We will be engaging our audit division, just, making sure, through the process, but yes.
And actually, just so you know, as you come back and check on the status of your application at any time, it will say in the beginning to employer verification. It will go into received once your director verifies you. Once Care Solution receives it and is actively processing it, it will say under review. And then once we reviewed it, your status will be changed to approved. If there's something wrong, then of course it will say incomplete or denied. And at the end, it will say payment sent. So you will be able to check the status of your application at any point. Let's take a look and see. So now you can see that now that I've submitted the director, we've completed the employment verification, the status is received. Okay. So at this point, I'll hand this over back to Denise.
Donna, just before Denise jumps in, one thing that I want to add, and we've got some questions at the beginning. Your demo, which was great, thank you, was operating off a test site. So we are still making some changes to the real site. And so if you actually go to the search engine, people are seeing the higher date there. That's in the process of being removed. So for the purpose of this, you can just put in a date or whatever, and it'll show. Correct? Correct. Yeah.
So we're just working on bringing us back to our presentation here.
So Denise, while we're doing that,
Yeah,
we're getting lots of questions here. I would say one of the biggest ones is from Family Child Care Learning Homes, wondering what they can submit instead of the pay stubs.
Absolutely, they can submit their Schedule C form, and it would be their Schedule C from the previous year. If it is before April 15th tax day, they are able to receive it. They are able to upload one from the previous year.
Okay.
And if they actually do not have one from the previous year and it's after April 15th, we do require proof that a request for an extension has been made.
Okay.
In order for us to be able to verify the one from the previous year.
Okay. And there was kind of a piggyback question, and it was about family childcare learning homes. We have a lot of individuals who maybe their spouse works in the home with them as well, but they do not give their spouse a pay stub. So how would that be included in this? They're asking, are they eligible for this payment? So if they don't have a pay stub, how would that work?
Well, if there is no pay stub, and for example, someone is paid by check, or is that your question?
No, it's their spouse is working in the program with them. So would they or would they not be eligible for the payment? So I guess that's something we need to
clarify it.
clarify in policy on
Right.
how then that you would verify that payment for them. So, okay. That's a great question, and we definitely need to address that in policy.
No, Denise, if you noticed too, we're getting lots of questions about the payment application month and staff eligibility.
We are.
So someone asked that their payment application month is May, but they have a staff that does not hit that 90 days until June. Would that staff be eligible to apply in June? And the answer is
Unfortunately not.
Unfortunately, no. We have to stick with the payment application months. For everyone, that staff will be eligible to apply next year,
Mhm.
but it is
Absolutely.
really it's 90. You have to hit the 90 days by the end of that payment application month.
Absolutely. And we've also got some questions here about re-watching this webinar. So yes, we should have told you it right at the beginning. This is being recorded. So not only is it live, but it will be recorded, as all of our webinars are currently recorded. And within a couple of days, we have both the slides and the recording of the webinar posted to our quality rated page on the DECAL website. And we also have our webinars posted onto the QR payments website that Donna just demonstrated for you. So there's a couple of different places where you'll be able to go and review the webinar in real time. Okay, so it looks like we're back on track. So I'm going to jump off just with these last couple of slides before we look at the additional questions that have come in.
I think a lot of those you're going to answer in these next.
We will, yes. So here's just a kind of a quick recap with the application month that you'll be searching for when you're looking for your month that Donna showed you. And as one of our questions mentioned about that data hire being there, that will not actually be there after within, I don't know how long it's going to take, but hopefully as we get rolling into April, that date of hire will be removed from the search engine. So the search engine really is designed for you to be able to search for your assigned month by putting in your program's name, or you could use your licensing number or the address as Donna demonstrated. For right now, because the website is live, so if you go to the site now, you will see that a date of hire is required in order to get past this page. So if you're just interested right now in looking to see when is my month, go ahead and just put a date of hire that would be more than 90 days, fictitious day, put it in for 2020, whatever day you choose, and it will at least return to you the next screens, which will tell you whether or not you're currently in the payment month or when your payment application month will be live. So this next screen here, we can switch over. Thank you. So as Donna demonstrated, if you are not yet in your payment application month, you will get that little message that says not open yet, but it will tell you when your month is. So you'll know when your assigned month is for you to go in and complete your application. If you do happen to come back here and it is the month, then it will tell you that it's time to apply. And that is when you'll be able to hit that apply now button that will take you to your DECAL Scholars login page, and you'll be able to actually complete that application. So again, it's having all of that information done and all your documentation ahead of time being prepared. That way, when it is your month to go ahead and complete the application, you will be ready and good to go. And so then this last slide that I have for you is really just kind of the big picture overview of those processes. So we have the preparation process, the application and verification process, and then the payment process. So again, those things to do ahead of time. Identify when it's your application month. Know ahead of time when it is going to be your month. As Bentley mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, because we are looking at making payments to over 34,000 individuals, we had to determine the fairest way to distribute that throughout the entire year. And the way to do that was to issue each program an application payment month, which was their month for their staff to go in and complete the application process. And the fairest and most equitable way to determine what your month would be was actually to look at the initial rating date of all of the programs that are star rated to give us a distribution across the entire year. Again, making sure that you've got that copy of your PDS profile page, your last two paychecks, knowing your date of hire and your hourly wage, knowing your banking information if you are going to use the direct deposit, and then of course knowing if you are required to complete your affidavit of lawful presence, knowing whether or not you need to complete that piece, and going to the resource page on the QR payment website to access that blank affidavit where you can print that up and then go get that signed. Then of course that next stage is to complete the application in the DECAL Scholars profile, answering your questions, requesting your employer to complete their verification. All of that needs to happen before the application arrives at the Care Solutions desk to then to be able to make those processes to process the payments. So again, this is something that doesn't happen overnight. So this is why it's a payment application month and not a payment month, because depending on at what time of the month you complete your submission, what time your employer does their verification, and where you fall in the queue of over 400 other individuals who are applying during that particular month will be dependent on how quickly you can receive that payment. So do be patient as we work through these processes. And then the very last slide that I have to share is the resource tab page on the QR payment website is really going to be the place to go to. It's a one-stop shop for all of the resources, all of the information. We will have how-tos. This webinar video will be placed there. You will have your blank affidavit will be able to be found here. You'll have FAQs here. The policies will be here. So this is the place to go whenever you have questions. As we receive more questions, our FAQs will be continuously updated with information that we're learning based on the questions that we have as everybody experiences this process. So again, that's a great place to kind of bookmark this website so that you can get access to all of the resources that will be here for you. And I'm going to hand this back over to Bentley now, and we can kind of jump off with any questions that we have remaining in these last few minutes.
Sure. Thank you, Denise. I would say if I had to bucket the questions, we're seeing a lot around family child care learning homes and wanting to, make sure that understand the process for family child care learning homes. So we are going to make sure that is clarified on the FAQs. I do have a question that I'm going to ask my friends at Care Solutions. For everyone out there, just so you know, they're not able to see the questions right now, whereas we can. So it may take a minute to think about it. But we were asked, why would family child care learning homes need to submit a Schedule C tax document when classroom teachers only need to submit pay stubs for 2 weeks?
So this is to prove that you are fiscally legal, essentially, since we are using taxpayer dollars to support these programs. We want to make sure that everyone who is participating is filing taxes and paying taxes as required by federal law. So that is the proof that you are doing your due diligence on that piece.
Okay, thank you. And that was Charlotte from Care Solutions, who is also Charlotte Health from Care Solutions, who is also in the room. We're also, Donna, getting a lot of questions, Charlotte, we're also getting a lot of questions about the affidavits. So I think, I've seen one where people are asking, if they've done the affidavit previously, can they search for it and find that so that they know, I guess, for proof that they have done it? We've also had people wondering if they don't have to upload an affidavit, is that going to slow down their application?
So if there is a previous affidavit that was filled out, it needs to be valid within the past year. So if it's within the past year, they are able to upload an older affidavit not signed.
That's just if they're a non-US citizen, though, correct? Because US citizens don't have to upload another affidavit.
Well, I'll chime in. The way the system is supposed to work is it's supposed to be intelligent, so that if you come into our system and you're a US citizen and you cleared 3 years ago because you received incentives, it shouldn't even ask you for it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Good.
That is how it's designed to work. So if you're prompted to upload an affidavit and you're secure and verifiable document, chances are we're going to need it to get through the system.
Okay.
If you're not prompted,
You're good to go.
you're good to go. So it should be very intuitive when you're in the application process.
That's great.
All right, thank you, Charlotte. That is really
Yeah, that's good to know,
that is
yeah.
really is really helpful. We've received a question. This is a bit so someone asked if they are listed under multiple sites. Like maybe they work between a couple sites. Maybe in their areas, whatever. Can they apply for all the sites and get bonuses for all of them? No. And just so these payments are off. They are once a year for a workforce. If you leave a site, let's say you were working at a site now and that payment application month is May, and you go through the process and you receive that workforce bonus. And let's say for various reasons you're working at a new site in the fall and that site's payment application month is October. No, you would not be eligible to receive that. I mean, the system will know that you received it back in the May process, and so it is just once a year for workforce staff. And that is to make sure that we can, offer these bonuses to as many staff as possible. As I mentioned at the beginning, we heard early on to make sure that we include all staff in the process. And so we have to have those checks in place. But thank you for your question on that. Denise, are you seeing anything specifically?
Yeah, we had a great question from a Georgia pre-K teacher who asked that she knows that their month to do their application is going to be July. And she asked about pay stubs if they're not working there in July. And I think we did determine that if they could send their last 2 pay stubs from the school year, which would be in May, that would suffice. So we're good on that one.
That's great.
And there was another good question about the 90 days. We had an individual ask about the 90 days in terms of if December was their application month, did the 90 days have to be that they had to be there 90 days before the 1st of December? And it's actually the end of the month. So as long as their 90 day could fall somewhere in the middle of that month, they would be good. And that's why we said, if their 90 days is falling in the middle of the month or towards the end of the month, go ahead and wait until you hit that 90-day point in the month before you actually move to the verification phase. Again, do everything else, save the application, get everything in there, and then wait until that 90th day in the month. Even if it's the last day of the month, that's the day you go in and just hit to get that verification done.
Yeah. Tyler, can we go back to the website resource tabs? We're getting a lot of questions on that. So we can just, does that list the websites where they would go? We're getting some questions about the actual website. Where's the website?
Oh, the actual address for the website?
Yes.
I'm not sure if it shows it on there or not. That's really small, but it may not. And we should have probably have put that right on there.
So you can go to, DECAL, QRpayments.com, and then go through the top menu where it says resources and select from the resources tab.
Okay. And we'll make sure when we post the webinar that we include that in the posting. We'll do we'll put those web addresses. We are getting, and I don't think we can answer this today. This is something we're going to have to work through our policies, but we are getting some questions about staff at programs that may not be paid. They may be working quite a bit on a volunteer basis or, something of that. So that is just something I don't want the people to think, because we've gotten a couple questions with that we're ignoring that question. That's just something we need to examine our policies, and we will come back, and that will be in the FAQs. Denise, any last things that you can think of before we close out?
We've had actually several questions because we are stating last 2 pay stubs. And we've had questions about individuals who are saying that they might be paid every other week. So would they then be submitting 2 of those pay stubs? So it would be 4 weeks worth of pay. It is physically 2 pay stubs, regardless of the pay period within those pay stubs.
That's correct.
Okay. I had a couple of people ask that question. It's a good question. Oh, and there was one last question. There was a question early on when we talked about the comprehensive records check. Yes, that is what you would typically think of or hear sometimes called the background check. So all individuals, in order to be able to work in childcare in the state of Georgia, do have to have a comprehensive records check that is satisfactory. The directors need to have those put into their accounts in Koala. That is what the comprehensive records check is. That's some people call it a background check, but it's a little bit more than just fingerprints and background, because there are other records that are being checked for that. So the actual correct term is a comprehensive records check, but also known as background check.
Well, great. Well, we are at our time. I'm going to close this out. I will say that we've gotten some very specific questions here. So we will look at those, and where appropriate, we will incorporate those into the FAQs, into our
Absolutely.
policy.
Yep.
There also may be times where we need staff to just contact Care Solutions, pose the question, and then we will come back with a response. We know out of 34,000, there's going to be many individual situations. And so we anticipate that we will be updating those FAQs and the policies throughout the next year. In closing, this is exciting. So there's the devil's in the details, and we are still working through a lot of those, but we are ready to go live April 1st. So for those of you, for those programs that is your payment, application month, please, get everything ready. If you run into snags or any problems, let us know. We are working through the system. And for everyone else, look forward to your payment months. Look for more information coming over the next couple of days. We're going to have more social media out there. The posters will be coming, and just look for just some exciting things we have in communicating those. And again, I don't remember being as excited as a project in a long time, and I've been here a long time, as I am with this one. And Denise and Donna, I'll give either one of you the last word.
No, I think it's exciting, but it's also, we're very much appreciative of the hard work that we know goes into making these star ratings happen. It's not easy to get a star rating, any star rating. And this would not happen without the dedication and the hard work of all of the workforce in these programs. And so I think just here from DECAL, this is a way of being able to say thank you, and to give back a little bit to those that make this happen, and provide these experiences for our children and families. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day, and look forward to April 1st.
Yes.